What's
Hey,
up, Kim? How you doing, man?
good.
You can hear me all right?
Yeah. You made me jealous. I want one of those hats.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, these are
Nice.
popular. Uh,
Yeah.
so, well, thanks for taking time to do this today.
Oh, it's really my pleasure.
Um, we'll get down to it, man. So I'll tell you what, first of all, just introduce yourself.
Uh-huh. Uh, get going now. So,
Yeah.
Ken Romley, I moved out. I've been a serial software entrepreneur for a long time, but my most recent venture is teaming up with an accounting practice that I've worked with for over 30 years. They're in North Raleigh, and that's where I'm based. And really had a unique opportunity that could help out a lot of small businesses. And so something that I really got excited about and joined up to automate a process that the government just made way too hard. And so that's what we're doing with Unclaimed Credits.
Government made something hard, huh?
I know. Is that a shocker or what?
I'll reserve any more comments, but okay. So, well, then it provides an opportunity for you. So your business is called Unclaimed Credits, and y'all help businesses. If I'm correct, you specifically are helping businesses that have employee retention credits and other grant money that was made available from COVID that they may not have collected yet or may not even know about. Is that right? And you try to make the process simple. Okay.
That's exactly right. That there are, everybody was affected by COVID, and the government actually made some nice steps to try to help the small businesses that were really struggling through the economy. But unfortunately, the way the government does things, everyone knew about these PPP loans. They were widely publicized. They got fairly easy to take advantage of. There's this whole other set of credits that apply to restaurants and other businesses that were just way harder to apply for, way harder to do correctly, because it's pages and pages and pages of documentation on how to do this stuff. But the money's really there. That just this morning, we processed somebody had a couple of Firehouse Subs franchises, and we're going to get them over $350,000. So there's serious money out there for support for anybody who kept W-2 staff and can show some effect of COVID. And so that's pretty much everybody, and certainly every restaurant.
Okay, so walk me through. So this is for people that they kept their W-2 staff during COVID, but they were shut down or adversely affected. And probably almost all of them got PPP. That was well marketed. Everybody knew about that. But there's other credits that a lot of people don't know about. So your example there, this is you're getting money on a per W-2 employee basis. Is that right?
That's exactly right. That so if you kept W-2 employees, one of the ways you show that there was an effect of COVID is to be kept by government order under 100% capacity. That's why I said every restaurant with indoor seating, basically, because those were all, we work all the way across the United States. And so it's different, the periods that were shut down, but every state shut down for at least a little while. And so everybody has access to some of this money. And then you get a percent of what you paid in W-2. You mentioned employee retention credits. That's the big one. That gets $26,000, a maximum of up to $26,000 per W-2 employee. So it's hard to get that much, but you go through the regulation, you put things through, and you can get significant amounts of money back by knowing how to apply for this stuff. And another piece that people don't know, any new company started after February 15th, that also qualifies you, just having started up new. So
February 15th of
2020. Okay. Yeah. And so they have these things for new businesses. Everything was to keep employment up in our communities. And so there were extra benefits if you chose to start during these hard times. That qualifies you. Get money.
Okay. So, our purposes and the reason you and I are doing this, and by the way, this is a first for our podcast, because for 7 or 8 years or however long we've done it, and over 300 episodes, every episode has always been us talking to a customer about their story and so forth. And we've never had any advertisers or anything. It's just clean and simple. But this to us felt like an opportunity that once, you all made us aware of this, we really wanted to have an opportunity to tell people about this, because it's very clear that, as your example this morning with the Firehouse Subs franchisee, there's a lot of money out there. Now, I've spoken to a couple of folks in the last day or so. Some have gone through this process. They've used another firm, maybe a competitive firm to you, or perhaps their accountant. One of the things you mentioned is that sometimes it's worth taking a look anyway, if you've already done this, because it sounds like there's a lot of I's that have to be dotted and T's that have to be crossed and done exactly right. Am I understanding that, like, maybe some people got money but didn't get all the money that they were due, or are you seeing that?
That's exactly right. That there was like a small Italian, not that small, but I think they have 3 locations, Italian sit down pizza 2. They had gone through, got a little over 100,000, but when we went through and really did things according to all the requirements of how you do the determination, they were really due over $400,000. So they were missing over, it was less than half of what they should have had. And so, we'll do a free evaluation of anybody, even if they've already submitted. And we can see there's some common mistakes that a lot of people don't put in the time to do this right. And, someone finds out they're getting $100,000, they're thrilled, but it's just so unfortunate if they were really due, $440,000. And so we find mistakes enough that it's worth our time to do these free evaluations with our accountants to review and make sure you really got the money, because we can resubmit and get the money that you missed if we look into it.
Even if you've already submitted, okay.
Even if you already submitted, that you do an amended return, and you can adjust to not lose the money. But all these things are sort of time sensitive. You got a year basically to get the stuff fixed up, and so it's easy to think that it's done, but it's a fast process just to feel confident that whoever you had it did things right.
Why was PPP so well marketed and everybody went through that? Why that and not this? Like, what's the
so why is our government not more effective?
Yeah, I know. I hear you. But, like, everybody knew about PPP. I mean, the media, and like you did not know about it. Why do people not know about this?
I think the reason people didn't know about this is initially this came out, and these grants and credits were mutually exclusive from PPP. And one of the downsides of this credit, one, it's way harder to apply for versus PPP. The money comes in much slower. So PPP, you get the money right away. This, once you file the paperwork, it takes 5 or 6 months. Why it takes that long, I don't know. The money always shows up, but you got this huge delay before you can see it. And that's just the way the government set this thing up. And when these things were mutually exclusive, everyone preferred to do the PPP. And so nobody was doing this. Congress then said, hey, this is a big mistake. We meant to get the stimulus out to these communities. Let's relax the rules. And so it just wasn't as well thought out. It wasn't part of the initial rollout. They said, hey, let's go in and tweak this and suddenly allow you to get PPP and these credits. And so I just think it wasn't that well thought out. And so it didn't have the same marketing push. The banks don't make a percent on this. And so they don't have an incentive to let everybody know in the same way.
Sure. Okay. That makes sense. They had an incentive for PPP, surely. So, okay. So, all right, gotcha. Now, what is the process like? Let's say I'm listening to this podcast and I own a restaurant and I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't know about this, or I got some, but maybe there's more. And what do I do?
Yeah. So first we do an evaluation. It takes about 15 minutes.
Let's start even before that. Like, did they come to your website? Is that your website is unclaimedcredits.com?
Yes, it's unclaimedcredits.com. No space. You just mash the words together. And right at the top, there's a contact us button. You hit the contact us button, it brings up a calendar and it says when our people are available. And so you schedule a time to talk to us. Almost always within 15 minutes, we can get a feeling for about how much money that we can get for you. If you choose to go forward, next step is we send you an email that lists out the accounting information we're going to need to do a real determination of how much we can get for you. So you send us all this accounting documentation. Usually it might take an hour, something to pull together. You might have to reach out to your accountant to have them pass us the information. But we get all the information. That allows us to know exactly what we're going to need to submit, how much. Then we'll come back to you. We'll tell you what the deal is, that we have fees for doing this, but only after you've already received the money. And so we say, hey, look, this is what the whole process, we're completely transparent. You sign up for it at that point, then we submit the paperwork on your behalf and you wait 5 months before the checks come up. But we'll let you know, okay, everything's been submitted. We can check with the government agencies on your behalf, but it's gonna take a long time. And then only, go ahead.
So I pay you after I get the money.
Only after you get the money.
Which is like 5 months-ish or 6 or whatever. So, but once you go through your process, now what they're due. It's just that they don't get the money for a while.
Yeah. And 100% of the people we submitted have gotten every penny we've submitted for, but it always takes a long time. And and the government won't give you any information. They say you're in the queue. And that's all they'll tell you. Yes, we've received your paperwork and you're in the queue. And then it eventually pops out.
That's okay though. If you're going to get the money, then, that's the important part. So, the people that listen to this podcast are going to be, restaurants, people in hospitality, boutique, hotels, breweries, distilleries, outside of just normal restaurant. But it sounds like, there were almost everybody, I would imagine, that's listening to this was impacted in that way. So do you have an idea of how often people that, submit their info to you, like what percent of the time roughly do you find that there's money available?
Oh, with restaurants, 100% of the time. Restaurants, hotels, bars, not always, because some bars completely shut down, and so they didn't keep any W-2s. So it depends on how you're running your bar. But
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, but restaurants, hotels, 100% of the time is just how much. Some bars we haven't been able to find anything for.
So if you help me out with that. If you shut down, because some people like laid off their whole staff and then they hired them back, or like, how does that all work?
Yeah. We're all meant to support people keeping W-2 employees. So you're going to get a percentage of the amount you spent on W-2 employees. If you fired everybody or you went to all 1099 and you didn't have W-2s, then these programs aren't going to provide any cash for you.
I got you. That's an important part. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but anybody who had W-2s, who tried to do some takeout, just wanted to keep people on for a while, all those people get money.
Okay, gotcha. All right. So how do you make money? You make money by taking, you keep a percentage of the pay, which is obviously very fair. You're doing all this work and getting them all this money. So then you would keep a percentage of that. And that's, again, that's only paid when they get their money.
Yeah. So, nobody's ever out with cash flow. We do all the work up front. We spend a bunch of time writing software systems to automate the process so we can do it efficiently for lots of restaurants.
Gotcha.
And so put that work in up front, and then, yeah, nobody's out any cash. But after they get, their, like Firehouse Subs gets their, $340 something thousand, at that point, they got to pay our bill.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. And then is this so this is, is this like this is a short-term business for y'all, right? I mean, you got a year and a half till this stuff goes away. So it's just something that y'all found that there's an opportunity, and you've written some software and you've got experts on analyzing this. So you have a real efficient process. And otherwise this money, if it's not claimed by a certain time in a year or whatever, then the money just doesn't, it just stays with the government. Okay.
Just stays with the government.
So you should definitely, folks, if you're listening, check this out, because it's worth, I mean, I would imagine, it's worth the 15 minutes to just make sure, even if you've done it, even if you've been through it, spend that extra 15 minutes, because, it was a great example of somebody that had 100,000 and were happy, and it turned out they were due 400,000. So this is a very good opportunity, Ken, and appreciate you taking the time to share this. And we'll put this out in the video on our YouTube, and we'll put it on our podcast, and so people should let I guess, if they submit their info that they heard about it here or whatever. Or...
Yeah. We'll ask during the 15 minutes, and I'll let you know. But greatly appreciate you giving me this opportunity. There's lots of people that could be helped, and it'd be such a shame if they didn't get the money that's out there. It's so hard to run a restaurant, and take all the help you can get. That there's tremendous value in our community. I love going out to restaurants. You want a vibrant scene where you got lots of variety, and this has been really crazy hard times. Want to make sure these guys stay around.
Well, a lot didn't. I mean,
I know.
10, 15%, something like that, have closed their doors. Who knows what the long-term effect will be. And it's still happening now. People are, so folks, this could be up. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. The last thing I was going to, if you tried for a while and then shut down, or, lots of people in restaurants know each other, you can still apply. If you were out there, the government should give you money, and that'll give you more startup cash for the next venture. So even if you're not in business today, that was the thing when someone who gave up, first quarter of 21 or something, but hung out for a while, we can get them some money back, give them a chance to start up that next restaurant.
Well, this is, like I said, over 300 episodes in 7 or 8 years. We've always just stuck with our process on this podcast, man. But we just felt like this is too good of an opportunity, and with the reach we have, not to share this. So, folks, check out unclaimedcredits.com. Ken has done a great job helping, describe what the situation is and how their business can help. So we hope you'll check it out, and good luck. And hopefully if you do, you get some money that you're owed. And everybody, in this space that we serve, we've just seen, we've seen tragedies. We've also seen massive amounts of resilience, creativity, rolling up the sleeves, gutting it out through this, tweaking business models and everything else. And boy, if there's money available, you sure do deserve it, and you sure earned it. So check these folks out. And Ken, thank you very much, man. And Yeah, just excuse me, let us know if people are coming in. I'm just curious if people hear this, if what happens. So we'll stay in touch. But thank you for doing this today, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Will. Good, great
All right.
opportunity. Thanks.
We'll talk again soon. All right, see you.
Bye.